Wanted Dead is one of them games where I have heard nothing good about, but I really wanted to dive into it myself and see if it was actually as bad as people make it out to be. My optimism was incredibly high for this game, so here is what I actually thought of playing Wanted Dead.
Lieutenant Stone, we hope you enjoyed the accommodation.
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
Oh, hi there, Warden.
When I first seen this game, I thought, finally, this is a game which is exactly down my aisle. It had swords, guns, arcade action, and it just looked really fun. But unfortunately, the game doesn't actually hit that mark that it made it look like it was going for. When you first play the game, you want to try and dive into the story straight away because that's naturally what you want to do in a cinematic game, but the dialogue is so stiff and so boring that you don't want to indulge in it at all.
Oh, that was special.
Keep the fork, honey. Here's pie.
The characters just seem very awkward, with very boring stories behind them. You just don't really care about them, you feel no connection to them, and that's probably because it shows a lack of personality. Each character has nothing to it, they are just robots, people, AI. But one of my biggest issues with the cutscenes was the graphics. I was playing this game in 4K on the highest quality settings, and the graphics of the gameplay actually did look quite stunning, and it was very enticing, very eye-capturing for me. But the cutscene graphics, it just felt like a low quality movie file just placed in there, and it was a real shame just to go from the cutscene to the actual gameplay in a weird, awkward transition. It just doesn't work very well. When you go straight into the game, the first thing before any tutorial or anything like that, you are greeted with a weapons customization screen, and you kind of just a bit baffled because you don't have a clue what to do because you've not really played the game. You don't know how the weapons work very well, so that was very pointless. After that, naturally you go straight into the gameplay and you are treated with the nice visuals and you think, yes, this game is gonna be pretty cool. But straight away, within the first, I'm gonna say 40-50 seconds, most people are probably going to die because they're gonna realize that the weapons are actually completely useless. You're gonna run up to somebody with your sword and try and chop them, but then realize your sword is made out of rubber. It's not actually made out of rubber, but it may as well be. It'd probably do more damage if it was made out of rubber. Now, with a game concept where you can toggle between sword and gun very easily, you would have thought that yes, the enemies have armor, so that could be why my bullets aren't working as strong enough. So it'll entice the player to actually run up and get close and utilize using the sword. But it really doesn't. The only reason you do that really is to actually reserve ammo because it just doesn't work very well. When you do get past the flimsy mechanics and physics of how the sword actually works, when you do actually start decapitating people, it does feel pretty cool. And getting your character, Detective Stone I believe she's called, or Agent Stone, when she gets covered in blood and she stood there with a sword, you're like, yes, this is pretty badass. The close range pistol kills are really cool. You can completely execute somebody with a pistol. That feels quite nice, but that immersion is soon lost when you start to take damage. Once there is a player shooting you or hacking and slashing you, you kind of just don't even realize some of the times your health just goes down and then you die miraculously, because there's just no sense of actually feeling attacked on this game for some reason. I don't know what it is, I can't really pinpoint what it is, but you just don't even feel like you are being hit and then all of a sudden you're just dead. It is weird. Naturally, the game does feature a skill tree where you upgrade abilities. It's not a very in-depth one, but it has a skill tree and that is something to kind of aim for. However, one thing which took me quite a while to realise is when the player actually dies, the skill tree, all the elements that you've just added to your tree, do not apply. You have to reapply them again. So you'll die and then you'll run into the next battle and you'll start to try and throw a grenade or something like that, and then you realise, hang on a minute, I don't have this skill, and it just doesn't work and you can't figure out why, until you realise when you died you lost that ability and you have to reapply it again. It is really frustrating. And on another topic of while we're talking about the death on this game, the checkpoints are ridiculous. It puts you miles away sometimes, and then you have to fight through such tedious stuff. The difficulty level on this game is actually quite hard, and it makes some things unbearably not fun. Like the parrying system, it is just not worth the risk. If you fail a parry, the person hits you and they damage you really bad, and a lot of times you can just die in 1 or 2 hits, and that's quite annoying. So it entices you to not even get close to the people. You want to stay back and shoot them. And then when you die, when you eventually get far on in the game and then you get to a tough enemy and you die, it sends you miles back, and you have to fight through all these little minions all over again to get to the same tough enemy, and then die, and then go all the way back until you can figure out his pattern. And it's really frustrating. When you die so many times, you actually end up getting the option to have these cat ears, which is similar to like the chicken hat on the Metal Gear games or anything, where it just kind of gives you some weird advantage and makes you look stupid. So it kind of shames you while it's giving you the easy option. And even that, even still tough with these cat ears on. A plus side about the hardware capabilities is it does run really well on the Steam Deck, so that is quite nice. However, there is also a downside to this. There are no cloud saves. So yeah, a game in 2023 has no cloud saves. That is unheard of to me. If you want to play it on your PC and then go straight to play it on your Steam Deck, you're not going to be able to. You're going to have to start all over again unless you go through the tedious process of transferring your data over manually. But even then, that kind of defeats the purpose of doing it. You may as well just not bother. It's quite a shame that I can only really go on about lots of the negatives in this game because they heavily outweigh all the positives. Little things like the character interactions just don't hit. Every time one of the NPCs speaks to Agent Stone, she pretty much just blanks them all the time, even though they're supposed to be friends. Annoyingly, there were also a lot of glitches when I played this game, and items just couldn't be picked up, and it was really frustrating. Unfortunately, the final straw for me on this game was when I came to the first boss, which was like a giant robot. I just had to stop playing. This thing felt like it had unlimited health. All my character was shooting beanbags at him. Nothing was affecting it. It just took so long to try and kill, and then I had to collect ammo, and it was just so boring and tedious. And after about 3 attempts, I just thought, right, that's it, I'm done, I am over this game. So as you can tell, at this point, I'm gonna kind of wrap up my final verdict. I went into this game with some optimism, thinking, this game looks like a solid 6 to me, it looks like a good game. It looks alright, but honestly, I'm going to have to give it a 3.5 out of 10, and that is by far the lowest review I've ever given. And it's a shame. I really wanted this game to be good. It had all the potential to be good, but it just wasn't. So if you are thinking of purchasing this game, please don't pay more than like a $5. You're going to be very disappointed. I just want to ask you guys, have you actually played this game? And if you have, what do you honestly think about it? Just let me know in the comments. Obviously, everyone is entitled to different opinions, so if you don't like my opinion, you don't like my opinion, that is fine. I don't have to agree with yours, and you don't have to agree with mine. But I'd still like to hear it. I'd like to hear the goods, and I'd like to hear the bads. So let me know in the comments below. It's Mark from Moddertech. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please consider a subscribe and a like to my channel, because it really does help in the algorithms and it helps me grow as a YouTuber. Thanks for watching.